A quick history of ERP applications. Hi, everybody. My name is Scott Walls. In the next 6 slides, I'm going to give you a quick history of Enterprise Resource Planning, or ERP, applications. So let's get started. Slide 1, Stage 1. How did ERP applications get their start? Well, largely, the beginning or the roots of ERP applications came from the post-World War II IBM reconstruction efforts. There were transnational production, as is a lot of the different elements of production within Europe were destroyed, so they became online, but they were fractured. So they needed an application that could work with cross-border commerce as well as multinational, because the US also produced a lot of that manufacturing or production. Slide 2, Stage 2. What was the first dominant integrated ERP and/or packaged application? Well, in 1971, IBM bought Xerox and got an application called SDS for $80,000. It wasn't even the preferred, what would be ERP application in waiting at that time. So 5 IBMers take SDS, they left IBM and started SAP. So that was really the first dominant integrated ERP packaged application. In fact, if you were in the 80s and reading the newspaper at that time for ads, it was everywhere in the help wanted ads. Slide 3, Stage 3. Who were the main players during the intra application integration stage? So intra is not between, it is within. And so you had applications like Bond for manufacturing, Siebel for CRM, Hyperion, which became EPM. So these were dimensional database performance reporting, PeopleSoft for HR, SAP for manufacturing, and then Oracle e-Business Suite for both finance and manufacturing. Slide 4, Stage 4. How did the internet change ERP applications and their connectivity? So as we talked about in the last stage, we had intra application integration. In Stage 4, you start to see inter or among different applications. So you had that connectivity of applications. You also started to have the reverse. So if I went all the way through the transaction here, then I turned around and did a return to vendor or refund or any of these transactions were now forwards and backwards. The maturity of the functionality was increasing, as would be expected. There was e-commerce, web enablement, and one of the biggest what they'll call best practices, tips and tricks, or value creators in those applications, certainly in Stage 4, was starting to become self-service. So just as you started to see all these telephone operators leave for airlines, etc., software mimicked that as well. So you started to see requester self-service, supplier self-service, customer self-service, all through the different applications. Slide 5, or Stage 5, how was the cloud model impacting ERP applications? Well, the old on-premise model where the applications were paid for upfront, oftentimes they paid a large dollar fee to buy it and then a recurring license fee to own it. So they were paid for twice. They were then installed. They were owned, maintained, upgraded, and customized all by the customer. As opposed to in the new cloud model, that went away. You didn't have to pay this large fee. You could just pay as you go, but you didn't have the option at some point to not pay your recurring licensing fee like you did in the old model, but it was less prohibitive to move in. And then also at that point in time, all of the upgrades, the changes, they were all going to be consistent. So this huge idea down the line of an expensive upgrade went away. Now, the only downside to that is you had to make sure you were doing what's called regression testing. So if there's 4 updates for Oracle a year, and each update gives you at most 6 months before you're forced to take those new features, well, then you need at some point in there to regressively test the new functionality based on what your existing configuration of functionality is in Oracle Cloud. Slide 6, Stage 6, what will ERP applications look like in 10, 20 years? So this is just a guess, but I think what you're going to see is potentially moving into a blockchain or public-ish kind of architecture, where you'd have an increasing degree of centralized applications. But as today, when you deploy the whole ERP in one of these public-ish type systems, those could already be turned on, or they could already be connected, and you could just turn them on. As for the folks deploying them or maintaining or managing them, I think you may also start to see more global workers meet within some kind of third-party currency or software or infrastructure that has its own currency, because there's now going to be increasing numbers of different players, potentially something like smart contracts so that everybody knows they're going to get paid. And then obviously with the requisite reporting for different governments everywhere. That's just a guess, but I think you may see the increasing centralization, and you may see some kind of underpinning with the smart contracts infrastructure to facilitate global workers everywhere being able to help deploy that and support it. Okay, that's it for this video, but click the link in the notes below and you can get access to the entire Oracle Cloud Foundations course for free on Panameer.com. Thank you for watching.